Record now. All right, Sarah, welcome to Evanston Magazine's Zoom interview forum. Thank you so much for participating in this. So that we get all of your information correctly, go ahead and let everybody know who you are, your company, your specialties, things like that. We'll start right there.
Sure. My name is Sarah McLaughlin. I'm a licensed massage therapist and have been since 2007.
Okay.
My company is Abaya Bodywork, and my specialties include Western table work, clinical work, myofascial release. I'm also a certified Shiatsu and Thai therapist. And I really love abdominal work. That's sort of one of my specialties. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Awesome. And let's see. So you've pretty much just ran over my first two questions in that statement. So we're really flying. That's good.
Okay.
What kind of caught my eye was the shiatsu massage part. We hear that name a lot, shiatsu massage.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Give me a description on that.
Well, shiatsu is a little different than what we think of as massage in the United States. Massage in the US typically includes a lot of like lifting and kneading and oil. Usually the person's unclothed underneath a sheet, but with shiatsu, the client remains clothed. They can be on a futon on the floor or on a massage table. And it's just a different way of looking at the body. So shiatsu incorporates the use of pressure and movement to energy channels throughout the body, the same energy channels that are manipulated in acupuncture.
Right.
But without needles.
Okay.
So the main focus of shiatsu is moving energy, not necessarily muscle tissue, although that happens as a result of that as well. But there's less focus on the lifting and kneading of muscle tissue and more focus on balancing emotional, physical, and energetic complaints. More focus on resolving or balancing those things like sleep or depression, that kind of thing. Shiatsu focuses a lot more on the emotional and energetic side of things rather than just physical muscle manipulation.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. So a person who might be struggling with their with depression would be able to come to you, and besides shiatsu, I'm sure you integrate all these other things too that you've mentioned that were fantastic talents, but they'll be able to work with you to deal with that depression through the massage.
Yeah, so I always say that body work, so when in the US when they talk about shiatsu, usually it'll be referred to as body work rather than massage, but through body work and other kinds of modalities, I think it's one piece in the puzzle of treatment for anything. So,
right.
If someone's suffering from clinical depression, usually they're referred to me by their psychiatrist or their psychotherapist, or their shaman, someone who's working with them on a maybe a medicated level, or also, if they're not receiving medication, on other levels that involve talk therapy with a professional. So I like to integrate with other professionals. So oftentimes I'll get referrals from psychotherapists or psychiatrists for people who are experiencing maybe a hormonal or chemical imbalance, that kind of thing. Because even simple relaxation can help promote the regulation of both hormone and chemical function in the brain. So it's just one piece in the puzzle, but for me, I think it's a very significant piece.
Absolutely. So, and what I've also noticed is you're very respectful of other cultures' integration of their work within your field. Can you give me a little bit of on video, because I know I've seen your website and stuff like that, but we want to make sure people understand that you're very culturally friendly in practice as well as participation.
Yeah, I try to be. I mean, we all have things that we're constantly learning and unlearning, right? Which is sometimes the more challenging aspect of that. So in everything I do, I try to maintain a cultural appreciation and not appropriation.
Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely.
I think I succeed in varying degrees, right? You can only do what you know. So I'm still unlearning and relearning things. But yes, while I study shiatsu, which is a Japanese form of bodywork,
Right.
and Thai massage, which obviously is a Thai form of bodywork, I don't pretend to be either Japanese or Thai. But
Yeah, no,
wherever someone yeah, but it's all information, it's
yeah,
all information looked at through a lens,
absolutely.
and our own cultures and our own experiences, our gender, our religion, etc., create that lens for
Yeah,
us. So
absolutely.
I try to acknowledge that in my work and in my speech and how I relate to people. I don't know everything. The process of unlearning and relearning is can be very challenging, and so I appreciate people's patience with me on that. And also likewise too, sometimes I do have a lot of clients who come in specifically for shiatsu who are from Japan, and I realize that my interpretation of another culture's art form is just that, right?
Yeah.
It's my interpretation.
Well, I did notice your sensitivity to it, and I think that's a great selling point because you'll have people who are from all different cultures that may be able to come in there, and of course they would feel comfortable. Now, there's another aspect that you mentioned earlier today. You stated that one of your specialties was stomach work. Now,
Yes.
is that connected to like digestion? Is it, give me some background on that statement too.
Yeah, I could talk for way too long about abdominal massage.
That's all right.
Abdominal massage isn't just about digestion, although that can be a chief component. I work a lot with particularly people who have a sense that there's some emotional block occurring. So oftentimes it's thought, especially in Eastern bodywork, and even in Western too, right? If someone's nervous or they're emotionally upset, like sometimes people get nauseous, that kind of thing. So we have a really real awareness of the fact that our emotional state influences how our belly feels, how our stomach feels. Some people may get constipated when they get really nervous or vice versa. So for me, the work is more about helping people create space for what is, for the emotional component of their life, which oftentimes gets put into the dumping ground of our abdomen. So I work a lot with women who have had a physical injury, either a hysterectomy or a C-section. I work with their scar tissue in the abdomen, energetically, again, with the emotions and the different channels and meridians. And I'm also trained in visceral manipulation, which is a Western form of not abdominal massage per se, but it focuses on the healthy movement of the internal organs. So healthy organs don't just stay static, right? They slide and glide over each other, which can be impeded in day-to-day life just from things as simple as our jobs and what we do, or emotions, etc. So I really try again to bring in the Eastern side, which is the Chi Nei Tsang side, the more energetic side, as well as the Western side of the anatomical structures and the physiology of it.
Okay. Wow. That would have never known all of
It's
that
good stuff. Yeah. I mean, like everything from bladder problems to, in men, I have to be a little careful with how I market this because some people don't have good intentions, but, if people have erectile dysfunction or something like that, sometimes the problem is simply in the abdomen. Sometimes there's just a lack of blood flow in that abdominal area that's creating issues further down. So, there's a lot of a lot of things that abdominal massage is really great for. And when you think about it, it's really where almost everything is, right? It's
Yeah,
where all
yeah.
the organs are.
There's a lot of medical bantering that talks about digestion, stomach issues, and things like that, and the overall health. So I absolutely understand, the importance of it. Have you run into any circumstances that you can mention with us without mentioning what clients or whatever, that it has been phenomenal in its, results?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. I had a client who had a hysterectomy, and she was having very real issues, feeling like the bottom half of her body was completely separate than the top half of her body.
Okay.
She kind of felt like a disassociation in a way. So she was tripping a lot and falling and bumping into things. Like, she had never really had that issue before. And while I'm so thankful for allopathic medicine, there's not a lot of treatment currently in the Western medical front that deals with something like that. Physical therapy is great, but it really focuses mostly if someone has a specific muscular issue, not a sense of disassociation. So for her, it was initially very gentle work. And then as we worked together more, we could get in a little bit more deeply into the scar tissue. And the goal is not to eliminate scar tissue, because that's not a strong likelihood with external manipulation, but it is to get the entire structure to slide and glide in a more healthy way, to prevent it from pulling in other structures toward it and creating an imbalance, like pulling muscle tissue and fascia in toward the scar tissue, and then maybe you have a hip imbalance or something like that. And it also really does help the nervous system re-knit those nerves if you're giving it a little love. And she, even after the first session, she could feel the difference. She could feel the ground in a way she hadn't felt since her surgery. She gained a lot more awareness of her body. And today she still, probably 6 years later, still comes to see me for about a once a season tune-up.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, various other things. Oh, I had a client recently who had a hiatal hernia issue. And he went and had the scan done, and the hiatal hernia was present. And it's not always successful, but with visceral manipulation after a hiatal hernia diagnosis, it is possible to move the body in such a way that it encourages that hiatal hernia to right itself, right? So for the esophagus.
What is a hiatal hernia?
It's when the esophagus, there's a little, so our diaphragm is just underneath our rib cage, right? The muscle that helps us breathe. And there's there's a hole in the diaphragmatic muscle, which is shaped like an umbrella. And through that hole, our esophagus goes, and then it goes into our stomach. A hiatal hernia is generally when the esophagus gets pulled up and it pulls the neck of the stomach up through that little hole.
Oh.
So it can create a lot of acid reflux problems, etc. So, but when I worked with this gentleman, I just worked with him once, and he went back and had a scan, and at that moment in time, his hiatal hernia was not detectable. So
excellent.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be an ongoing thing for him, and maybe eventually he may decide to treat it in another way. But for right now, bodywork's working very well for him.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm sure he's extremely happy about it.
He's very happy. Yeah, he's very, very happy.
An influx is something else. You can't just take those pills like they try to tell you.
No, not when the neck of your stomach is like being pulled up through something. Yeah.
Exactly. That's something else. Well, that's been pretty great. I think you've been very thorough in what you've been.
I can talk way too much, Aaron. I can talk way too much.
Good. We can go any direction with this, but I think you've been very thorough in what you've needed to put out there. I really know that people should be coming to you for a lot more than the advertising seems to push out, right? Because when you think about massage therapy, you think, oh, my shoulders, you know what I mean? My
Yeah,
back,
right.
you
Yeah.
know,
I
worst
like to
case
refer to
scenario.
myself as a touch therapist now. I mean, that's not a legal
Okay.
designation. I am a licensed, Illinois state licensed massage therapist, but
Right.
you know, I mean, it is broader than that. So
Yeah,
massage
absolutely.
and meditation and movement. That's my jam.
That's your I don't know, your logo, your motto.
All of
That's
the
good.
above.
Exactly. So that's thing. Well, if you have any questions, or what I would say is if you can just mention your website and way people can get in contact with you.
Sure.
You know, and again, you can run through a couple more specialties at the end of this. People,
That's okay. I think that's kind of where I'm at these days. So,
yeah,
yeah, my name again is Sarah McLaughlin.
right.
My website or my business is Abhaya Bodywork. And Abhaya is a Sanskrit word, so I might be butchering the pronunciation of it, but it means fearless, and it's fearlessness in the way that when you just know something is right, not in the way of jumping off a cliff or anything like that.
No,
Although maybe then too, it just depends. But my website is abhayabodywork.com, and that's ABHAYA bodywork, BODYWORK.com. And yeah, you can get in touch with me via my website. My email is abayabodywork@gmail.com, and my phone number is 773-875-0103.
excellent. I think that's great. We're going to get this out to the people in Evanston and the North Shore. And I thank you for your time. This is Aaron Foster of Evanston Magazine signing out. Great interview. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Bye-bye.
Bye.